Yes, I will be redoing. So, to Pao caught in watching my VOD after the fact that I missed I forgot to check for the right choice indicator on, I think it was the last choice of chapter 9, so I'm going to just go in and check that again. And, oops, sorry for hitting the microphone. Hopefully that wasn't, like, horribly loud. And so we will be starting with that last bit of, that last choice in chapter 9, and then I'll skip ahead. We will see anything that's new content, then I'll skip ahead to chapter 10. Because it's got that neat feature where the skip button only works on stuff you have already seen. Yep. Yeah, I think that was... Oh, whoops, I usually play the opening, but you know what? We can just get right to the action today. I don't have to play the opening every single time. So, whoop. Okay. It's really bothering me that I'm not, like, centered in the camera. But there is an easy way to fix that, so... Oop, wrong way. Nope. I think we want that. Don't mind me futzing with my settings. Is that better or worse? Can't really tell. I think I also want to clean that up. Yes, alright, you know, one of these days I'll remember to do all this stuff totally before the stream, but yeah, that's looking a lot better. Okay. So, we're gonna continue not from chapter 10 as I usually would, but from this last choice, which conveniently was the last save I made for, like, choices stuff. Oh, hey, I should probably turn off that timer. I mean, people can still donate to the thing. Actually, no, you said it's ended on Saturday, so yeah, I will also turn that off real quick. Just so it doesn't keep repeating a thing that is no longer active. Doop. Doop. Timers. Doop. Doop. Boop. Okay. I have, oh, and while I'm over here, I have my captions on, yep. Okay. Yeah, okay. So, this was, I chose Why Would I Be Afraid of You, I believe. And I think and I didn't get a right choice indicator, which indicates, because, you know, I think I remember thinking it through and being like, oh, the really direct affection response rarely works with Klaude, but, like, now that we're towards the end, I'm like, actually, nah, that makes sense that it would. So yes, I believe I selected Why Would I Be Afraid of You, didn't get a right choice indicator, so we will say the thing that I'm sure is accurate, I could never be afraid of you. Which, let's be real, assuming she knew it was him, right? Like, because we saw afterwards that she was pretty scared of the beast that we think is Klaude from the end of chapter 9, but he never told her, so how could she know who he was? Alright, so, Klaude is explaining how he has not told her everything because she would be afraid of him. And so we're gonna have Lucette say, I could never be afraid of you. Klaude. Silence. Lucette. What is there to be afraid of? Klaude wears a pained expression as he looks at me. I see him once again grabbing at the collar of his dress, looking like he's in some kind of quiet agony. Klaude. That's what she said, too. Lucette, thinking to herself. Is he talking about that one woman from before? The one who didn't love him? He thinks I'm the same? Out loud. I am not like her. Klaude, shocked. Yeah, here we go. Klaude. Lucette. Okay, and now I think we're caught up. That then everything went as previously in this chapter where Lucette, they get attacked, Lucette gets kidnapped by Varg, there's a whole, Alcaster gives a whole villainous monologue, and then a mysterious beast starts rampaging the castle. Couldn't possibly be Klaude, whose curse got triggered perhaps by Lucette getting kidnapped right in front of him. And then Varg was like, hey, you know what, I think it'd be more interesting if I just, like, let you go, so just did exactly that. And she also tried, like, her father is also tied up literally to the throne, and she tried to help him, but there was too much chaos and it was a little too dangerous, so she's like, alright, I'll go get my friends first, then I'll come back and save him, which I actually think was very sensible of her. So, we're gonna skip ahead. All this happened, this is where Lucette got kidnapped, this is in the throne room, Alcaster's monologue, soldiers going, there's a beast! Ah! And then Varg letting Lucette go, the beast coming in and attacking, and here we are. Chapter 10, The Beauty and the Beast. The title makes me happy. Alright. Lucette thinking to herself, where did the beast come from? Lucette, shocked, I think. I'm kinda, yeah. Oh, sure, I will save. You're right, it's not a bad idea to save at the beginning of the chapter now that I have redone that choice. Alright. Return. Knights immediately rush towards me. I back away as far as I can without re-entering the throne room. Knight A. Princess, come quietly and we'll keep you somewhere safe until all this dies down. Lucette thinking to herself, I cannot take them all on at once. Even knowing that, I still pull out my sword. I take a few steps back and then suddenly feel my back pressed up against something. Lucette, shocked. The beast stands behind me, its back to me. I stand in its shadow and I realize that if it turns around, it could swat me to the walls just like the rest of its victims. Lucette, thinking to herself, but it's just standing there. Beast. Together. I don't know how to do a beast voice. Maybe I could do it like a... I'll do my best. I'll do my best for reading that voice. Lucette. Together? The beast says nothing more. Though I still feel on edge, there is something oddly familiar about this. Lucette, thinking to herself, Klaude told me once it was better to fight back to back. Out loud. I will trust you for now, whatever you are. Thinking to herself, I do not know if it understands me, but I can hope. It seems more like a human than any kind of animal. I like that she doesn't even know that it's him, and she's just instinctively, like, trusting. I have emotions. Oh man, sorry, emotions. She's like, something triggers in her brain about, like, this is super familiar. The word together makes me remember fighting back to back, and the beast doesn't seem to be trying to hurt me, so why not trust? Good instincts, Lucette. Knight A. Princess, get away from the beast! It will... The knight never finishes his sentence as the beast sends him flying through the air. Lucette, shocked, thinking to herself, why is it helping me? The knights fall down like dominoes to the beast, but manage to remain standing when I strike them with my sword. Lucette, thinking to herself, even just taking one down is so hard. These men have been trained for years, while I haven't even had the luxury of 1 year. Yes, exactly. Ah, this beast has good tactics. I shall trust it. Out of the corner of my eye, I sense movement. I see a gleam of silver, and I hear a grunt as a sword is raised into the air. The sword is nowhere near reaching me, but Lucette, shocked, thinking to herself, the beast! I aim a kick at an approaching knight before whirling round to look at the beast. The oncoming sword comes closer to the beast's exposed back, and I know the beast will not be able to dodge in time. Aw, I wonder if trusting is her last good deed? Maybe. Lucette. And no, not just trusting. I think this will be her last good deed. Like, barely trusting this, like, creature who she has no idea who or what it is, and still being like, I will save them. Just move that up to clear her head. So, alright, so we got the oncoming sword comes closer to the beast's exposed back, and I know the beast will not be able to dodge in time. Lucette. Move! I shove past the creature and catch the knight's sword with my own before it can harm the beast. My arms are shaking underneath the strength of the impact between our swords. I feel like my arms are going to give out. Then a flash of light appears, so bright that everyone is temporarily blinded. Oh, also, you're right, like, all the soldiers are... No, I think this sudden flash of light must have been her breaking the curse. I stumble back, rubbing at my eyes. From the sounds of it, the beast is continuing to drive back the knights, most of them shouting to each other to retreat. Lucette. What was that? When I am finally able to see again, my eyes automatically land on my feet. I stare in shock. Lucette, out loud. Glass slippers? Okay, so apparently her necklace turned into shoes that are now on her feet, which is, like, cute and all well and good. Hi, Nason! But, like, really impractical for the fact that she is actively sword fighting. So now she literally has glass high heels on. Great for a sword fight on what looks like a shiny, probably marble flooring. Those are not practical combat shoes. Exactly. Oh, so Nason, if you're only just coming in, what you've missed is that, one sec. So basically, Lucette was trying to escape the throne room to go find her allies. There were tons of soldiers outside who were like, come with us, princess, and she's like, I don't want to go with them, so but like, how do I fight all of them? I'm like barely trained, and then the beast presses up against her back, like, so they're back to back, and manages to say the word together, and she still doesn't know it's Klaude. I mean, we're technically only assuming that. You can use the shoes. Well, I'll get back to that comment for a sec, in just a sec. And so the beast manages to say the word together, and she doesn't know it's Klaude, though technically we're only assuming it, but it seems a pretty obvious assumption. But she's still like, okay, I remember something about this feels familiar. I remember Klaude telling me that it's safer to fight back to back. I'm gonna trust the beast and roll with this. And then, you know, and the entire reason why it's safer to fight back to back, she sees a sword incoming, about to hit the beast, from behind, where they would not possibly be able to see, and Lucette intercepted, even though, like, she has no idea who this beast is, barely trusts them, and so, like, it counts as a good deed, because it's like, I see someone who is not harming me, about to receive harm themselves, and I instinctively block it for them, and that counted as her last good deed. Hello, Ice Starmie! We're a little bit ways, we're not very far in, we just got to Lucette getting her final good deed for blocking a blow to the entity that she doesn't currently know is Klaude, and therefore is, like, just someone she barely, like, knows and is only somewhat sure is a human. And, like, I can totally see how that counted as a good deed. Of course, then the glass slippers end up on her feet, so we were also talking a little bit about how impractical glass high-heeled shoes are for combat, though my sister was commenting, you can use the shoes to be combative. Weirdest version of the break the beer bottle and use as a weapon in a bar fight trope ever. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, at that point, the sensible thing to do is take them off your feet and then, like, smash it against the thing and use it like a knife so she can dual wield, have the sword in one hand and the broken glass slipper ready to stab. It's a very funny image. Nice. Now that she has broken her curse, she just needs to help Klaude break his own curse. Yes, exactly. Yes. So she's all set with her curse, and I'm assuming at some point she will realize the beast is Klaude, and then, like, currently my best guess is just her being like, "Yep, saw you in your beast form, still love you," and that'll be like, "Oh, curse broken." That's my assumption, but we'll see. Ha! Yes, better to just throw the intact shoe and have it shatter on your opponent. Very good point, John. Very good point. Alright. So, Lucette, the glass slippers having just appeared on her feet, says out loud, "Glass slippers?" I quickly reach up to my pendant and realize that it is no longer there. Lucette, shocked, thinking to herself, "I completed my 3 good deeds?" But what if it's safety glass shoes? Well, I mean, she'd be better off if it is safety glass. Though she'd still probably want to take them off realistically, just because I still think they'd be slidey on the marble floor. Alright, Beast says, okay, I don't know. I was struggling a little with doing a Beast voice. We'll see what I can manage this time. Beast. Oh gosh, this is Lucette. No, I just don't know how to make my voice make a growling noise. Yep, nope. Yep, that's the best you're getting out of me. Lucette. That just sounds ridiculous, but sure. Actually, no, I can kind of roll with that. Lucette. Lucette, thinking to herself, "It knows my name?" I look around and realize that the beast and I are alone, the knights having fled. Lucette, thinking to herself, "Did the beast drive off the rest of them?" I feel a pressure at my back and realize that the beast is touching me. Sounds tortured. Yeah, that's exactly my thought, is like, I can work with that slightly off voice, because it's not what I initially imagined when I was trying to make the sound come out of my mouth, but like, but it came out as a very tortured sounding, gaspy sound, so I'm like, actually that kind of works. Tortured to match their soul, yep. Right, so I feel a pressure at my back and realize that the beast is touching me. My first instinct is to run, but the words it utters next paralyze me. Beast. You okay? Oh, fair enough. Every word sounds breathless and pained, like it takes too much to speak. Lucette, thinking to herself, "It is worried about me?" I watch in shock as the beast appears to gesture towards my shoes. Beast. You did it! Lucette, shocked. I step back warily. Lucette, out loud. What are you? The beast reaches out, and I see something glittering in the palm of its hand. Oh, the rose necklace she gave him! Oh, that's such a sweet way for her to find out that it's him! I love it! Oh, that's so good! Lucette, out loud. The rose locket! For a few moments, my heart plummets into my stomach and my hands begin to quiver. Oh, Lucette! No. She'll get it soon. Lucette. What did you do to Klaude? The beast's shadowed fingers curl over the locket even as he stares at me. Beast. Gave me. Lucette. I gave that locket to Klaude. The beast only stares at me for a few moments longer, and then suddenly I realize that his words, nothing more than a pained growl, do not hold any malice. Lucette. Out loud. I gave that locket to... You? The beast slowly nods. My grasp on my sword loosens as I stare at him in shock, realization dawning upon me. Beast. Silence. Lucette. Klaude? Klaude. Yes. Lucette. So, this is your secret. Why would you not tell me? I could have hurt you. Lucette, thinking to herself, and I love love that! That's her first instinct. How could you not tell me? I might have hurt you, not realizing it was you. Aww. Aww. I have emotions. Lucette, thinking to herself. Klaude has another form. A cursed form, and he never told me. Why? As my mind whirls, I feel everything coming together like the pieces of a puzzle. Klaude. Secrets are secrets. Secrets are secrets for a reason, princess. You should know that. If I could speak on them, I would. But I can't. Klaude. Lucette, I wish I could explain. You would hate me, or more accurately, you would be afraid of me. Lucette, out loud, I assume? All those times Klaude was clutching at his chest. You were touching your tattoo so many times before, like you were in pain. The beast growls, and the sound is surprisingly soft, almost a sigh. Beast. Curse! Lucette. Then the tattoo was... Beast. A warning! Lucette, thinking to herself. The first time I saw that tattoo, it was a beautiful rose. The second time, it had more thorns. When the rose became ensnared in thorns, did he transform? And he always touched his tattoo when he came too close to me. Out loud. Oh, really? Oh, man, that's a rough curse. Yeah, sure. I assume that roughly here would be where Claude's bad ending is. So yeah, I'm happy to hear about it. I don't want to like play it because like I don't like experiencing the bad ends in a lot of cases, but hearing about it would be fine. So yeah, I'd actually be curious to know. So Lucette says, Klaude, your curse did not just make others fall in love with you, it stopped you from loving anyone too, didn't it? And can I just say that's the saddest freaking thing? Beast. Silence. Lucette, thinking to herself. He mentioned that woman before, the one who he thought loved him but didn't. Is it possible that she saw him in this form and was terrified of him? Out loud. If you loved anyone, you would turn into a beast. Klaude. Silence. Lucette. You loved a woman once, but she only loved you because of your curse. The minute you transformed, she was scared of you. Wasn't she? Beast. Yes. Lucette, thinking to herself. He sounds so pained. The reason Klaude has been trying to hide everything from me is because he is scared that I would have feared him. That is why beauty has always been so important to him. But the curse cast upon him makes him both beautiful and a beast. I like that. That's kind of creative, actually. His Beauty and the Beast curse makes him insanely beautiful to everyone around him, but also a beast if he actually falls in love back. No! No! Okay, Ice Starmie sharing the bad ending. Oh, no! Oh... I'm just gonna repeat that as she hurt him rather she in fact, not knowing it was him in the bad ending, hurt him rather permanently. I am glad you noticed Tapao, although I think if I had a majority of good answers, it still probably would have given me the good end, but like, you know, I'd rather not risk it, especially because that is incredibly tragic. Like, do all the romance interests just die in the sad end? Because that's also what happened with Rod, so he just, like, you know, did the fade away like ocean foam thing. That's so sad! So sad. Alright, well, that's why we're not in the bad ending. There is some terrible alternate universe where Lucette, not having formed a sufficient connection, could have unalived the beast in quite a tragedy, and presumably only then realized that it was Klaude and then been incredibly heartbroken, but that didn't happen here. Instead, yeah, bad endings are all tragic like this. That makes sense, yeah. Gosh, I am increased, like, I mean, there was a reason I was invested in having the good endings and not experiencing the bad endings, but gosh, that, like, sure emphasizes the point. But yeah, no, so thankfully in this, Lucette had a strong enough connection to Klaude to sort of sense something familiar about the beast and choose to trust the beast. So instead, they're having this nice conversation, and Lucette has come to the realization, oh, this is Klaude, and then it's all very sweet. Interesting. Waltz's bad ending is the only one without a real death, but it's surprisingly the worst bad ending in the game. Well, we'll come back to that, put a pin in that for when we get to Waltz's route, but that's an interesting thing to know. Right, so... Okay, so of course, now Lucette has finally realized the true nature of Klaude's curse, which is actually a little more complex than I even realized. Like, I thought maybe there was just some kind of time limit on it, like where someone needed to love him for him or something like that, like in the Beauty and the Beast original, but I never expected that it was he turns into a beast if he falls in love with someone else. Like, wow, that's harsh. Lucette thinking to herself, that is why beauty has always been so important to him. But the curse cast upon him makes him both beautiful and a beast. Beast. I wanted you to love me, but no one could love a beast. Aww. Oh, sad. His words are dwindling. It almost sounds like he's being suffocated on the inside with how slowly he's speaking. Lucette. Silence. Klaude, I have never cared much about appearances. People have worn masks on their faces their whole life around me. Klaude, I take a deep breath and face him. I will love you, no matter what form you take. Aw, she has such a determined smile on her face. Oh, I will love you no matter what form you take. Oh. It's very sweet. I drop my sword to the ground and make my way over to him. I rest my cheek on his chest and wrap my arms around him. Lucette. Oh, and now it's her cute smile. Her, like, cutest, adorable smile. Lucette, out loud. I love you. The room is filled with a bright but gentle light. It almost feels like I am bathing in sunlight. For a few moments, I forget my worries. Everything feels blissful and quiet, and my heart feels full. Then, moments later, I feel warm arms around my waist. Klaude. I love you too, Lucette. Lucette. Shocked. Indeed, the feels. So many feels. When I open my eyes, I still can't see anything, even though I know that the light has faded. That warmth is still there too, but now I feel it immediately on my skin, and I realize that it is because Klaude is hugging me. Not as a beast, but as a man. Lucette, thinking to herself, extremely blushy. Did I break his curse? I realize this is the first time Klaude has ever touched me for a long period of time without abruptly moving away. Tentatively, I move my hands, feeling the fabric of his shirt and the warmth of him underneath it. Lucette, still very blushy. Klaude. Before I can finish my sentence, my lips are sealed. I feel Claude's lips on mine, only briefly, but it is enough to make me suddenly feel faint. He pulls away from me with a brilliant smile. Klaude. Also blushy. I've always wanted to do that. Lucette. Shocked. And still very blushy. Klaude. Lucette, you're blushing. If I could, I would kiss you again, but we have some urgent things to attend to. The reality of the situation begins to seep back into me. My father, Varg, Alcaster, they are all still in the throne room. Lucette, out loud. The king! Klaude. Let's go, Lucette! When Klaude and I rush into the throne room, my attention is immediately grabbed by the king calling my name. King Genaro, who now remembers her because, squared, yes, just from the earlier scene, but like King Genaro now remembering his own daughter. calls out, Lucette! He is still bound to the throne, though his gag is removed. A rush of relief floods through me. Lucette thinking to herself, he is alive! He is alive, and he remembers me! My gaze is drawn to the two men battling at the base of the throne. Their swords are locked together in a stalemate. Lucette, thinking to herself, Alcaster, and... Fritz? Oh, wow. Okay, that's... seems to me even more certain that Varg is somehow some alternate version of Fritz. I look forward to finding out more about that, and I'm very excited for Fritz's route, which will be after Rumple's, and that will be a nice, thing to look forward to if I end up not liking Rumple's route as much. But, like, damn! I'm so excited Fritz is back! I like him a lot! Lucette. Fritz? Thinking to herself, what has happened here? Fritz. And I like that Fritz is standing up to his father. Like, this is like a big deal for him. Fritz. This is not how you gain power. Alcaster. I knew you would be a thorn in my side from the moment I concocted this plan. Where is Varg? Fritz. The only one here is me, and I will... Fritz's concentration slips as his eyes land on me. The opening is small, but it is enough to give Alcaster the opportunity he needs. Lucette. Watch out! Klaude is already running over to help, but even he is too slow. Oh no! I don't like this! Oh, rude! Rude! This is supposed to be a good ending! I know Fritz isn't the love interest for this route, but does he have to die? Rude. Poor Fritz with a father like this. Indeed! Like, wow, just thinks nothing of just murdering his own son. Or at least trying damn hard. I mean, I can still kind of hold out hope. We haven't confirmed that he's dead yet, but you know, most people can't really survive a sword straight through the chest. Oh. Alcaster disarms Fritz before driving his sword through Fritz's chest. Oh, that don't look good. Lucette. No! Alcaster pulls the sword out of Fritz's chest just fast enough to deflect Klaude's attack. As Klaude drives Alcaster away from the throne, I rush to where Fritz has collapsed to the ground. His eyes are already growing glassy. Lucette. Fritz! I lean over him, thinking to herself, there's so much blood. I glare at Alcaster. Out loud. How could you do this to your own son? Alcaster. Anyone in my way will meet my sword. Blood does not matter. Yeah, in case we were wondering if Alcaster is just an unforgivable... I need a stronger word than asshole. He is a monstrous human being. Like, that's... Oh... Yeah. Okay, good to know. I got too used to the peaceful ending of Rod's route, but Rod's is the most peaceful route in game, so don't expect the other routes to be that peaceful. Alright, well, thank you for the heads up, actually. Oh man, so even the good ending of most of the routes have some kind of terrible things happening in them. That's a good thing to be mentally prepared for. Yes! Alcaster is unhinged! Agreed. So Fritz says, Princess. Lucette, shocked. I turn back to Fritz in alarm, tears in my eyes. Lucette, Fritz, hold on! Fritz, Lucette, don't speak. You need to conserve your energy. Fritz. That face! Oh, that face. You did tell me, Ice Star Me. You did tell me that Alcaster was a huge jerk without anyone's help. Yup. That face that Fritz is making as he says, Princess, I'm sorry. Lucette. Crying. Fritz, please don't. Don't speak. I feel bitter tears stinging my eyes. Fritz. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry, that was kind of more the Lucette voice with the because I'm tearing up, but I watch as the life seeps from Fritz's eyes. I put my hand to his chest, feel for a heartbeat, but Fritz's body is still. Lucette. Fritz! I glance up at the sound to see Klaude at the far side of the room, struggling to his feet. Gosh, sorry, I'm gonna just take a minute to, like, recenter, maybe drink some water. This story went from the incredibly sweet love confession scene to the incredibly tragic death of the person who was really probably Lucette's closest and, in fact, probably only friend from before all this curse stuff happened. I don't like it. King Genaro. Lucette, watch out! I turn, but am not fast enough. I see Alcaster's sword raised high in the air, and I know it will reach me before I can pick up my sword. Lucette. Shocked. The sword falls from Alcaster's hand as a bright red ribbon of light twines around the hilt and drags it far from reach. Couldn't Delora and Waltz have gotten there just, like 5 minutes sooner? I turn and see Delora standing a short distance away, Jurian, Garland, and Waltz all standing behind her. Delora. I'm afraid your performance as king has been incredibly disappointing. Jurian and Garland move together, rushing Alcaster from the same side. I see Klaude moving in from the other side, quiet and lethal. Waltz. Princess! Waltz and Delora rush over to me as the fighting continues. Alcaster has reclaimed his sword and is trying to evade attacks from 3 different swords at once. Lucette. Out loud. The king. Waltz nods at me, his gaze lingering on Fritz as his expression becomes solemn. He walks off to the throne while Delora kneels beside me. Lucette. Delora. Delora shakes her head, and that is all I need to know, that there is nothing more to be done. Delora. We will make sure he is properly honored, but for now we need to get you out of here. Lucette. What about Ophelia? Delora. Waiting for us somewhere safe. I constructed a shield around her that will keep her hidden from view and harm until we return for her. Lucette. Weren't we meant to bring the royal family back to the Marchen first? Delora. Not when we're missing the king. Besides, plans change when a magical beast starts rampaging in the castle. Alcaster. Princess! I turn to look at Alcaster, who is still somehow managing to scream my name, despite the fact that he is quickly being overwhelmed. Alcaster. Princess! We could have worked together! If you were more like your mother, you could have ruled with grace, beauty, and fear! I flinch back, and Delora's hands come to rest on my forearms, her grip steadying. You know, as much as there are a lot of problems with how Delora and Parfait treat Lucette for much of the story, like, I appreciate Delora being there for her in this moment. King Genaro. That is enough! I look up and see that the king has stopped to stand beside me. To my surprise, the king rests a gentle hand on my shoulder, his eyes soft as he looks at me. Good for him! Okay, I like at least in this route it sounds like the king is, like, prepared to finally have, like, a good talk with Lucette and be like, maybe apologize for the, like, lifetime of not treating her right. Anyway, Lucette, King Genaro, rather, says, Lucette, we have a lot to talk about, but right now I have something I must do. I nod mutely and watch as the king draws his sword. He makes his way to Alcaster. Jurian, Garland, and Klaude step back from where they have forced Alcaster to one knee. King Genaro. You are a traitor lacking any honor, Alcaster. Alcaster. You were the one who lacked honor. A ruler must have the people beneath his thumb. King Genaro. A ruler must lead people, not suffocate them. His oath as king is to protect them. I do appreciate here that, like, King Genaro stepping up. Like, he's a little useless in a lot of the other scenes we've seen him in, and even in Rod's route, like, he was just, like, totally ineffectual and shocked when the whole thing happened, but surprisingly, Rod's route shows the worst King Genaro. Yeah, that's exactly 100%. Rod's route is the only one in which Lucette remarks that she hasn't been able to fix her relationship with her father. Yeah, fair enough. I now that you mention it, well, that's nice to know, because I'm liking this. I'm really digging King Genaro stepping up. I guess, you know, he's got this whole crisis situation he's suddenly faced, and that kind of probably makes him realize he needs to step up, whereas in Rod's route, he never faces the crisis situation. So, that's my theory anyway. Anyway. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna read that all as one statement. King Genaro. A ruler must lead people, not suffocate them. His oath as king is to protect them. You are no king, Alcaster. For your crimes, I find you guilty and incapable of rehabilitation. The sentence for the severity of your crimes is death. The king raises his sword, and I turn away before he strikes down his sword. There is no sound or scream to follow. I turn once more to see that the king has pointed the sword at Alcaster's chest, but has not killed him. Okay, that's fair enough. King Genaro says, you will stay in the prisons until the time for your trial comes. Though you might try to refute these claims, you will be tried as a traitor to this kingdom. And then you will be executed. I appreciate that, actually. Like, he's like, you know what? We're gonna put you, like, there's no way you're gonna get out of this, but we're gonna put you properly through the trial system and then execute you. I'm not gonna just execute you on the floor of the throne room in the moment. Alcaster's shoulders fall. The glare never leaves his face, not even when the guards seize him and drag him from the room. The king immediately sends Durian and Garland out to deal with any knights that are still a part of the coup. Delora and Klaude help with moving Fritz's body, while Waltz tries his best to fill the king in on the most basic points of our successful operation. Alright, Rod's route is the only one in which Lucette remarks that she hasn't been able to fix her relationship with her father, and I don't understand that, because Rod's route is the one in which her relationship with her stepfamily is the best. One would think that after her mending her relationship with the Widensaws, fixing her relationship with the king would be a piece of cake. Well, I really think that a lot of it comes down to Genaro hasn't been willing to face Lucette. Like, and I think that he is maybe a dude who, faced with a time of crisis, was like, all right, now I need to step up, both as a king and as a father. But since the whole coup was completely averted in Rod's route, he never has that moment of being like, oh, guess I gotta step up. So he just kind of continues on his, like, passive ways. And, like, so I think that that's really the core difference, is, like, nothing happened to shock him out of being passive. And as long as he is unwilling to approach her, she's gonna keep rolling with the assumption that it's because he doesn't want to talk to her, and so she has no particular reason to go reach out to talk to him when she thinks he doesn't want to talk to her. That's my theory, anyway, as to why Rod's route is the only route in which she doesn't really fix her relationship with her father. And, like, it sounds like she will then grow her relationship with her step-family, following the events of the actual route. In most of the other routes. Lucette, out loud. Everything has died down a little bit over the last hour, but I still feel overwhelmed. I glance at Waltz and the king, who are still speaking. Every time the king sees me looking at him, he flashes me an uncertain smile before glancing away. Lucette, thinking to herself. I know he wants to speak with me, but I will talk to him after I can get Fritz's body out of my mind. It was my fault he died, wasn't it? He saw me and stumbled. Delora. Hey, princess. Lucette. What are you doing here? Delora. Here I thought you'd changed, but you've still got some feistiness in you, don't you? Lucette. Silence. Delora. Many years ago, when the war ended, we were all faced with a feeling just like this, princess. We had lost so much, and the future seemed so grim. But now it's different. You have a future. Lucette. Silence. You broke your curse, princess. That gives you some kind of hope. And in addition, you broke karmas. Memories of Klaude's arms around me, of his lips on mine, come flying back to my foggy mind. My heart still feels tight, but it is a little lighter when I think about him. Lucette, thinking to herself. I wish he was here right now. Out loud. How did I break Claude's curse? Delora. Klaude, I don't think I'll ever get used to his real name. It seems like he hasn't told you yet. I guess it's been pretty hectic. Lucette. Out loud. So Klaude turned into a beast because he loved me? Delora. Well, I guess I could give you the laydown of his curse. Klaude. Stop! Desist! Delora has not even started to speak when Klaude runs into the room, gasping as if he's been running through the halls. I'm actually gonna, like, pause there to catch up on chat. One would think that after maybe this is back on this thoughts about Lucette and her relationship with her father. Waltz's route is the one that shows the best King Genaro. Good to know, although the game is a bit inconsistent about how much Genaro tried to mend his relationship with her. Okay, fair enough. So, I mean, in this one, it's like, at least clear he's gonna try, and I can appreciate that. Like, I was really unimpressed with him by the end of Rod's route. But, like, here I really feel like he had a good moment of, like, stepping up that makes me have faith that he'll be better going forward. Right, so Delora was trying to tell Lucette about Claude's curse, and Klaude is like, wait, nope! Oh, let me go back. Delora has not even started to speak when Klaude runs into the room, gasping as if he's been running through the halls. Klaude. Curse! Are you speaking about my curse? Lucette. There's no way he heard us talking in the hallway, is there? Delora. Even I feel at a loss for words right now. Klaude. Oh, back with the sparkles. I sensed you might be talking about me. Delora. The princess was just asking me about your curse. Klaude. Oh, then I was right to come running. And here I was just guessing at what you might be talking about. Delora. Claude's curse. Klaude. Was based off the fairy tale, Beauty and the Beast. Klaude easily finishes her sentence. Delora holds up her hands as if in surrender. Delora. So eager to steal the spotlight. You say that, Delora, but it's his curse, so it's kind of his story to tell, so let him steal the spotlight here. Klaude. Well, you are talking about me, after all. Lucette. You always told me that your curse was just the beauty's curse, though. Klaude. Well, yes, because the other half was a little difficult to explain, wasn't it? Lucette, thinking to herself. He has a point, though I think he might have been able to save us all some trouble if he hadn't been so secretive about his curse. He really must have been scared that I would shun him. Klaude. Allow me to explain, princess. In the fairy tale, a prince of a kingdom is transformed into a beast because his heart is as cold as ice. Delora. Sounds familiar to a certain icy princess, huh? Lucette. Silence. Delora. Just trying to lighten the mood. Klaude sighs. Klaude. I would call Lucette something far more flattering, like my sweet, beloved. Lucette. We were talking about your curse. Embarrassed. Klaude. Oh, right. Well, anyway, the witch who cursed the prince in the tale tells him that he has to learn to love and be loved before the petals of a rose completely fall off. Lucette. A rose? Klaude. Yes, she gives him a rose, and he keeps it protected under glass. Some time passes, and the rose continues to wither away. A maiden finds the beast eventually, and the two fall in love. At the end of the tale, she confesses her love to the beast, and he transforms back into a human. Lucette. By confessing, I saved you? Lucette, thinking to herself. But his curse was different from the tale. Klaude. I know what you're thinking, that my curse was somewhat different. Lucette. It was more complicated. Klaude. The witch made it so I was both the beauty and the beast. She said it suited me because I was so vain. The witch constructed a very roundabout curse. Any woman who falls in love with me, falls in love with me as the beauty. And when I transformed into a beast, the enchantment would break and they would become terrified of me. Lucette. Silence. Thinking to herself. I doubt Klaude ever thought he would break his curse. The love women felt for him while he was cursed was always fake. How could that kind of love hold strong when he turned into a beast if it was never true to begin with? Delora. Then you came along, princess. I bet he'd just about given up hope and was waiting for you to dispel the curse on your birthday, but now here you both are. But the Ice Princess in love? What a miracle! I turn away, embarrassed. Lucette, extremely blushy. Yeah, not helping, Delora. You're not wrong. Lucette, it is not a miracle. Klaude, I am very glad I met you, Lucette. Lady Delora's words are the truth. I had just about given up hope. I never had any hopes of breaking my curse. I had thought that the only way to fix it would be to have you dispel it on your birthday. But then I came to know you and... Delora, you fell in love. A fairy tale indeed. You started out frowning at everyone and everything. You've come a long way, princess. Congratulations. You turned out to be a pretty okay princess. Wow. Okay, I think Delora just has a huge mask of sarcasm through which she interacts with the world. Maybe it's a defense mechanism. Anyway, but Lucette, I think they've had some good moments here, so Lucette just replies to that. And you turned out to be a pretty okay witch. Delora, gasp! Do my ears deceive me? A compliment from our little witch? Lucette, shocked. Delora, you look so surprised, but you'll be the new bearer of our crystal real soon, princess. I expect good things from you. Lucette, right. I almost forgot about that part. I'll try my best. Delora, yet another miraculous proclamation from the little witch. Will the surprises never cease? Before I can snap at Delora again, the king awkwardly interjects, coming to stand next to us with Waltz by his side. King Genaro, pardon the intrusion. Delora, oh, not at all, your majesty. King Genaro, silence. Lucette, silence. King Genaro, Waltz told me that you were cursed, and that's why I forgot about you. Lucette, yes. King Genaro, even if it was by a curse, I feel terrible that such a thing could have ever happened. So, I will make it up to you. We can catch up from where we were many, many years ago. And maybe things can be different. Lucette, silence. Out loud, I'm sorry. King Genaro, what for? Lucette, for being the way that I was before. For shunning Ophelia and her children. Oh. Lucette, thinking to herself. Ophelia, did they bring her back to the Marchen? King Genaro, Ophelia is still here. After the fight was over, she was shown back to her room. She's still waiting for Rod and Emmeline to return. Now, would you maybe be willing to tell me this story from the beginning? Klaude, just sliding in. Perhaps I could fill in the gaps, your majesty, he says. Like, your majesty, I say as your future son-in-law. He doesn't actually say that, but that's what I imagine his brain is. Lucette, Klaude? The king looks startled when he stares at Klaude. He blinks, as if he's just noticed his presence. King Genaro, oh, and you are? Klaude elegantly bows before the king. Klaude, I am Prince Klaude of Brugantia. A pleasure to finally meet you, your majesty. King Genaro, the lost prince? The king turns to me with a puzzled look. Lucette, it's a long story. Klaude surprises me by wrapping an arm around my shoulders and pulling me closer to him. Everyone looks shocked except for Delora, who looks like she's trying not to laugh. Oh my! Oh, Klaude! Klaude says, as the princess's lover, I feel it my obligation to help her explain this whole mess. Lucette, extremely blushy, shocked. I feel my face getting hotter at Claude's sudden proclamation. All their eyes are now on me, and I suddenly feel like hiding myself. Lucette, thinking to herself, only Klaude would so bluntly say such a thing. The king looks more shocked than anything. King Genaro, when did this happen? Klaude, well, your majesty, I think we had better start at the beginning. We were able to tell the king everything, save for where Varg had disappeared to. No one was sure where he had gone in all of the chaos. The night's searches for him all ended in failure. A lot of explaining had to be done, not just to the king, but to the people at the tavern. As soon as everything has calmed down, Rod and Emily finally went back to the palace. I apologized to them as best I could, and they all seemed willing to try again with me. And I'm willing to try again too. As for Klaude... Lucette. So, you're going back? Klaude. Are you sure you don't want to come to Brigantia with me, just for a short holiday? I would love nothing more than to introduce you to my family. Mother would shower you with gifts. Father would, well, tease you probably. He makes jokes frequently. Okay, so that's clearly where Klaude got some of it from. And Llama... Lucette. What did you just say? Llama? Thinking to herself. He has a pet llama? Oh, Klaude. My brother, Llama. Lucette. What? Klaude. Another acronym where karma and llama. Lucette. Does your father do these things on purpose? Klaude. I told you he likes jokes. My brother's real name is Lance. I was going to bring you back and introduce the two of you. And you could tell my little brother how very charming I am. Lucette, thinking to herself. Is it just my imagination, or is there a glimmer of competition in his eyes? John. Okay, okay, in order. I didn't quite catch where T'Pau was saying, oh my goodness, but I assume from Klaude coming in being like, hello, I am the princess's lover. Ice Starmie says, okay, so the brother's full name is Lance Lawrence. And Johnny coming in with, I really was hoping for a Cusco appearance. That would be great. I mean, to be fair, let's be real. If the brother got cursed, there's a really obvious curse there, and that is for him to get turned into a llama. But yes, I love is it just my imagination, or is there a glimmer of competition in his eyes? And so, like, there's a level to which Karma was, like, planning to come back and show off his awesome new girlfriend. And brag about how great she is and how great he is. Ah, I see. Lance Lawrence Mateo Almont. Anyway, Lucette says, as much as I would like to meet your family, Klaude, you have your own obligations here. Lucette, and you need to let your family know that you are safe and alive. Klaude, but the thought of being separated from you. Klaude sighs before he leans down and plants a kiss on my forehead. Klaude, I'll miss you. Lucette, you won't be gone that long. Klaude, love, that's not how you're supposed to respond. You're supposed to say, my sweet prince, I'll miss you too. Lucette, blushing, fine then, I'll miss you. Maybe. Klaude raises an eyebrow at me and then smiles. Klaude, I'll be back for your birthday. I love you, Lucette. It has only been a few weeks since Klaude left, but I am impatient. The king has been throwing grand dinners every night in preparation for my birthday, but I can hardly concentrate on anyone else when I am thinking of Klaude. Lucette, thinking to herself. I told him about all of the smaller birthday celebrations. I thought he would be here for them. My birthday is in a few days. When will he come back? So, she does miss him, like, absolutely. I've tried to make myself busy, mainly by continuing my sword practices with Jurian and Garland, who have both rejoined the Order of Caldera. Every time I am around the knights, I think of Fritz. Game, why you kind of come at me with this? I almost forgot. Well, because it's a really sad and very poignant thing. Lucette, thinking to herself, I shall bring some new flowers tomorrow. If Klaude would just return already, we could go pay our respects together. And there he is, Klaude. Hello, Lucette, my love, my sunshine, my beautiful betrothed. Lucette, shocked. Thinking to herself, Klaude? I shake my head and try to gather my thoughts. Lucette, First of all, you did not knock. Second, we are not engaged. Klaude. We may as well be, don't you think? Lucette. At the very least, knock before you come in. And I'm gonna add in, also, Klaude, maybe propose to her first? Klaude. Still worried I would come in on you in the middle of changing? Would you have minded so terribly? Lucette. Yes! Klaude. It's worth saying those things to you just to see you blush. Lucette. Why are you even here? His arrival is so sudden, and I had absolutely no time to prepare. Klaude sighs dramatically. Klaude. You didn't want me back here? Lucette. No, I mean, you did not even write to say you'd be back today. I just wasn't expecting you. Klaude. I did say I would be back for your birthday. I am a man of my word. Should I have stayed out longer? Lucette. No, of course not. I grumble as Klaude walks over to my bed, grinning. He sits down on the bed next to me and wraps an arm around my waist, pulling me closer. I sigh out and lean my head on his shoulder. Lucette, thinking to herself, with that cute little smile. It is a startling contrast to what it used to be. Before, if I touched him, he would flinch and turn away from me. Now he is always right next to me. Klaude's whole body seems to relax when I tentatively wrap my arms around him and hug him back. Klaude. I knew I would miss you, but it really was terrible being away from you. Lucette. That's also a cute smile. That's a new Lucette cute smile. Or at least one I haven't seen in a while, if at all. Lucette. But you'd enjoyed the time with your family. Klaude. I did, and my brother was very frustrated that I spoke about you almost every hour of the day. Lucette. Extremely blushy. Shocked. How could you have that much to say about me? Klaude. Oh, I felt that I didn't have enough time to list off all of your virtues. I nudge him in the arm, but he just grins at me. A glint from Klaude's pocket catches my eyes, and I flush proudly when I notice the rose locket. Looking at the locket makes me think back to that night when he transformed back into a prince. Klaude. Lost in thought, are we? Lucette. I was just noticing the locket. You still carry it around with you. Klaude. Of course I do. It has become my most valuable possession. He pulls the little locket out and pops it open. I'm startled when I see a small sheet of paper with my own words on it. My message to him is still there. Klaude smiles as he reads the words aloud. Klaude, out loud. A normal rose would have withered, so I offer this one instead, in heartfelt thanks. I say nothing when he turns to look at me. Klaude. Oh ho, your cheeks are red again. Your embarrassment is adorable, darling. Lucette. I am not embarrassed. Thinking to herself. I just didn't think he'd keep the words in there, or that they would ever mean so much to him. Klaude. Yes, of course, you just have exceptionally rosy cheeks, agreed, this smile of hers is very cute, yes. I like when you get to the end and you get to see all of Lucette's cute smiles. Or near the end, even. He pauses as he closes the locket again and looks at it fondly. Klaude. I love this locket because it's the first gift you gave me. Lucette, thinking to herself. He was holding the locket as the beast, too. It was half of the reason I recognized him. I jump as Klaude gently taps my nose with his finger. Klaude. This locket isn't going anywhere anytime soon, I can assure you. I smile as he winks at me. Klaude. Anyway, allow me to pull you back into the present. Since I promised you no more secrets, let me tell you something. Lucette. Oh? Klaude looks away from me, his eyebrows furrowing, and I frown. Lucette, thinking to herself. I hope it is nothing serious. Klaude. I'm nervous about sitting down to dinner with your father tonight. Oh, that's also kind of sweet. Oh. I also think it's sweet because normally normally he wouldn't tell her. Like, normally he would try to hide, or not just her, but like normally that's exactly the sort of thing that he would try to hide from everyone, and with smiles and brash overconfidence, but he's being honest with her, and that's actually incredibly sweet that someone who, like, puts on the confident, charming front like he does, to be willing to admit to nerves. Like, that's... Yeah, I don't understand that when he was so blunt when he told the king that he was Lucette's lover. I wonder if that's actually part of it. He's like, oh man, I came on so strong, and now what must he think of me? And I also think Klaude puts on an air of overconfidence, and he isn't as overconfident as he pretends to be. It's partially a, like... Oh yeah, also, T'Pau makes a very good point. There was also a lot of adrenaline going on right then. And so, like, I think he would never have admitted to being nervous to anyone else, but he admits it to Lucette, and I think that's very sweet. Lucette, you're nervous? I start laughing without even meaning to. Klaude, you're laughing at my pain, princess! He pulls me closer and kisses the top of my head. Lucette, but you're too flamboyant to be nervous. Klaude, I'm confident, princess, not flamboyant. There's a difference. Oh, honey. Klaude, you are both. Let's be real. Oh, fair, T'Pau. Or he's gonna say I'm nervous because I'm gonna propose at dinner. I mean, that could be a reason. But nah, I could also just see him being like, wow, I sure said things to the king when I was, like, high on adrenaline. Alright. Lucette. Right. Klaude. Silence. Claude's expression grows more solemn. He looks at me seriously, almost sadly. Klaude. Right, exactly. Sorry. I shouldn't... Well, let me go back a little because I want to not interrupt. So when they were being cute and he's like, I'm confident, not flamboyant, there's a difference. Like, 100% you're both. Okay. Claude's expression grows more solemn. He looks at me seriously, almost sadly. Klaude. Lucette, I'm still sorry about lying to you. That whole time I made myself up to be someone beautiful. Someone I wasn't. I believed I was truly a good person on the inside, and that I deserved good things, even though I was selfish. Lucette, thinking to herself. He's already apologized to me before. Too many times. Out loud. Klaude, you do not have to apologize. Klaude. No, that which was right to curse me. I've always had everything handed to me on a silver platter. When I came to Angiel, I believed that if it wasn't going to help break my curse, it wasn't important. And then I met you. At first I thought I would just have to get on your good side so you could help me dispel my curse, but then, Lucette, I realized I was drawn to your confidence and commitment. But I could never admit that I was in love with you. I was so scared that if I transformed into a beast and you were scared of me, I would lose my chance at winning your heart. So, you see, princess, I was selfish. I wanted all of you without having to give you all of me. I really appreciate... He has come a long way. Like, I think he's done a very good job of balancing his, like, confidence and flamboyance with, like, sincerity and, like, more openness. And I dig that. I really appreciate... I really like how this game tends to present character growth for, like, you know, not just Lucette, but, like, the love interests and stuff, too. This is a bit sad, since Lucette always thought people would only try to befriend her to get some favor. Yeah, and I mean, sure, he started out that way, but then he came to genuinely like her, which starts off sad, but then ends up being really nice, because it's like, yes, he approached her for exactly the reason she always feared people would approach her, but then couldn't help but like her, and in a way that's, like, kind of backwards becomes sweet, even if it started off very sad. I look down at where our hands are intertwined, and I grip his fingers tighter. Lucette, I've told you enough times now that you have nothing to apologize for. Okay, he had a couple of things to apologize for, but he has, so good on him. But if you insist on apologizing, maybe you ought to do something to make it up to me. Those words are out of my lips before I can even think them. I stop suddenly, trying to ignore the hot flush in my cheeks. Klaude looks at me, puzzled, and for a few moments I feel triumphant that I have caught him off guard. Then the puzzled look fades and Klaude just grins at me. Klaude. Oh my, so forward. Lucette. Forward? I open my mouth to apologize when he suddenly grabs my hands and tugs me down to the bed. The instincts Klaude taught me in my sword fighting are quickly overwhelmed by my surprise, and at no time at all he has me pinned down on the bed and is looming just above me, smiling. Aw, they're both smiling. It cute. Klaude. I'm disappointed. Princess, you knew my weakness, and you didn't even exploit it there. Lucette. Your weakness? Klaude. Yes. He leans closer to me, and our noses almost touch. Klaude. My weakness is you, Lucette. Aww. He leans down, and our lips finally meet. I relax into the contact, my earlier tension melting away as warmth flows through me. Words. He pulls away and smiles at me. Klaude. You see? I let my guard down in front of you. Lucette, thinking to herself. I let my guard down in front of him, too. And only him. This whole time, all I've wanted to do is be able to touch him like this. His fingers move gently up my arm, and he leans down to kiss me again. And then an interrupting knock. Lucette, shocked. The sound of knocking startles us both. A muffled voice comes through the door. Mayday. Princess, the king is requesting your presence down in the dining hall. He says that your friends have arrived. Lucette. Silence. Mayday. Princess? I hear the doorknob begin to turn and quickly speak. Lucette. Yes, I will be there in a minute. Mayday. I will let him know, Princess. Klaude. First the curse, and now this. It's as if the world is conspiring against us. Oh my goodness, Klaude. Chill. Chill. Y'all will have plenty of time after dinner. He kisses me once more on the forehead before slowly sitting up and running a hand through his hair. I catch the mischievous look in his eyes as I smooth down my own ruffled hair. Klaude. Don't worry, Lucette. We'll just finish this later. Oh, okay, that's also a good point to Pow. Let her turn 18, you man. That's also a good point. She is 17, and I don't remember how old he is. I want to say he's like 19, though, so he's not, like, dramatically older than her. But yes, I mean, y'all, it's like a few days to her birthday. Lucette. You say such uncouth things. Klaude chuckles before he stands up and offers his hand. I take it and smile up at him. Yes, I remembered correctly. He is 19. Klaude. I love you, Lucette. And now I get to say it as many times as I like. Lucette. I love you too, Klaude. I stand up on my toes to plant a quick kiss on his lips before heading to the door. Lucette. With a cute smile again. Let's go, Klaude. I liked this a lot. This was very cute, and like the ending was very cute. Like it definitely, like, I wasn't like when I first saw Karma as a character, I thought I would like him more than I did at first, and in the first couple chapters of this route, I was like, he's alright, I guess. But like he definitely won me over by the end. Like I think a lot of the final scenes between them are very cute. And I think that I'm really hoping. So this was lovely and this was adorable, and I really liked this route. Next week I'll be starting Rumple's route, which is the only route that I am really going into not excited about, but I am really hoping that the writing in this game will manage to win me over. I mean, surely he can't stay an annoying flirt forever. Surely there has to be some angst that will humanize him. And I mean, to be fair, even in Karma's route, we see him a couple of times be a little, like, more thoughtful and such, so. But yes, so Karma's route, Rumple and Varg are the two I have worry about. Well, my impression is that... Oh, beast mode. My impression is that... So our theory, of course, is that Fritz and Varg are one and the same somehow. Unclear how. I guess we'll find out in Fritz's route. And I am looking forward to it because as I have seen more of both characters, Fritz is absolutely a trope I love, and Varg is also absolutely a trope I love, and their powers combined, that is likely to be a very interesting route. But yeah, so the one I am most concerned about is Rumples, but yeah, rather than focus hard on that, I'm going to focus more on how nice this was. And I probably won't play the sequel on stream, but I definitely think I'm going to like look up on my own when I'm done with all of the routes. Like, I will look into the second game and just probably play it on my own, because after I'm done with Cinderella Phenomenon, I want to play Code Realize. But yeah, like, this was really nice, and I like this game a lot, and I'm just gonna try to have faith in the writing of the game for Rumple's route. But Karma's route really won me over by the end. Like, there was a lot that was very sweet, like, especially that bit with, like, Karma, where Karma's curse got broken, and the, like, I did have a lot of emotions about how sweet that all was. So yeah, thank you so much for everyone for watching, and especially to Pao and Ice Starmie, who have been like really actively feel in this with me since early on. And everyone also, thank you, John, for being here and hanging out, and to my sister for being Captain Kiarda, for being here and hanging out, and also to anyone who was lurking. I hope that you had a good time, and hope to maybe see you back here next week when I will be... So I play Cinderella Phenomenon every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern. So, and I'm going to keep on doing that until I've gotten through all 5 routes. And since I do a chapter a week, I figure that'll take me through October or so. Last I did the math. So, so that's 2 routes down and 3 to go. And I'm pretty excited, so this game has just continuously been a really good time. Like, I have, like, loved this game. Like, I also remember when I first was going into Rod's route, I wasn't sure if I'd like it, because he didn't immediately strike me as a type of character that I'd like, but then that one also completely won me over. Like, so far, I've been very happy with both of the 2 routes that I've played so far. They were both really cute, and I enjoyed them a lot. Alright, bye Tapao. Thanks for hanging out. So like I said, next week I will probably start again with the prologue, so anyone who hasn't been here for earlier chapters, who came in late and wants to see it from the very beginning, I mean, for the new routes, but the prologue and chapter 1, and I think also chapter 2 are all, like, particularly the prologue and chapter 1 are basically the same, because they're always the common route, and chapter 2 is where you start getting a little bit of unique stuff for the route you're choosing, but and then it doesn't actually turn to the route until chapter 3. But next week we're going to start with the prologue, gearing up towards Rumple's route. So it's a great time to come back in if you want to, like, see the story from the beginning. And thank you, Ice Starmie. Like, as always, it has been lovely. And yeah, so I'll be back at it next week, and I think, and my next, like, official, my next stream in general should be Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, and I'll be doing my usual modded Minecraft thing, so if you want to just watch my streams in general, hope to see some folks there. If you just want to watch Cinderella Phenomenon, which I totally support, then hope to see you next week. Alright. Bye, everybody! Bye!